Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at a remarkable phone to price ratio. I have been using the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus for a little over 3 weeks now, and my experience with it has been mostly good. The aesthetic is great. It has an aluminum chassis coated in gold with a white front panel with a symmetrical look all around the front. The entire back is not aluminum though. The top and bottom are plastic, but I think it still looks pretty nice. And I have been using mine in the clear case that came included most of the time, so I don't feel the difference, and even when I don't use the case I don't notice it much. You can feel the difference in coolness and slipperiness, but that's about it. And only my pinky is able to feel that on the way I hold it. I haven't gotten any scratches on the rear camera, which sits flush with the clear case, so that is good. I was a bit concerned at first on how much it stuck out, but as long as you use the clear case you should be good. I did drop the phone twice with the case on and nothing cracked, so thank goodness for that. So the single firing mono speaker and micro USB port are housed on the bottom of the phone, and it's a shame that they stuck with the micro USB port because that would deter many people, but at least it didn't take away the headphone jack. On the top is where it gets interesting. There's an IR blaster there. It's pretty cool because you can use it as a remote for your TV, and the best remote is the one you have on you, and since we mostly always have our phone with us, it's a pretty nifty feature. So the fingerprint reader is incredibly fast. It matches the speed of the OnePlus 5T to the naked eye, and it's very consistent, making it the best fingerprint scanner I have seen on a budget phone. The tall 1080p LCD display looks great. It's easily visible against sunlight. I haven't had any issues viewing the display outdoor in direct sunlight as it gets bright enough, and the viewing angles are great for when you're watching a video with someone, but the color profile looks pale compared to the higher end phones and to some other phones I have tested, like the Yucatel Mix 2, whose display I like the most with just the right amount of vibrancy. After using the Redmi 5 Plus as my daily driver, I have really enjoyed their UI on top of Android 7.1.1, but dislike some of the missing features that I enjoy having on phones running stock Android, which I will talk about in a little bit. The system interface has that OIS feel to it with the greater than symbol on the right edges of the menu. The subtle animations are very nice. So there are 5 things that I have come to dislike about the UI. The first thing is that I can't put the phone on silent from the lock screen. I have to unlock it first. That is not a big deal, just a minor inconvenience. The second one is that my display doesn't light up when my alarm goes off. I also have to unlock my screen to dismiss it or snooze it. I feel that this may be a bug in the software, but since this is my first time using a Xiaomi phone and since the latest update didn't change that, I'm uncertain. You guys familiar with it can help me out in the comments. Third, I can't add things to my notification panel, it is restricted. So if I download say Shazam, I can't get an icon on top there or any other app that can put things on the notification panel. Now on to number 4. It doesn't let you customize the color layout of the notification shade. You're stuck with green during the daytime and it changes to a light purple at night. I checked the entire settings and found nothing on this. I even changed the theme and it didn't help. If there's a way, I would love to know. Now number 5, it doesn't work well with the Google wallpaper for using them on the lock screen. This is just a personal thing I found. You can download a picture and set that to the lock screen, but not from the app. So those were the 5 minor things that I found need some tuning. Besides that, the UI looks very clean and organized. One other thing before I forget is that the Netflix app is not compatible with this phone, so you have to go find an APK file to download if you want the app. It's a bummer that it didn't just work right away. Since we are talking about issues, let's move on to some that I found. There are times when the Wi-Fi connection just drops and I can't connect to any network because they don't show up anymore, and this is the first time I have experienced a Wi-Fi issue with the phone I have reviewed, so there's the first time for everything. Now rebooting the phone helps every time for it to get back up and running. But this issue is annoying because you can be watching an online movie and the movie just suddenly stops, so you have to reboot the phone to keep watching. So hopefully this issue gets resolved with the coming updates and soon. Now onto some good things. You still get the split screen window, but Xiaomi has its own take on how to do it, and it actually lets you adjust the screen. So that is cool because on a lot of other Chinese phones running stock Android, for some reason it can't resize the window. So you can resize the YouTube music video, make it smaller to get more screen real estate while you're reading through an article. So that is good. With the Snapdragon 625 under the hood alongside 3GB of RAM, it has been incredibly smooth. It hasn't lagged on me and haven't had any apps crash. It handles games well and it has turned out to be a reliable phone to game on. There's no lag while swiping through gameplays or frame drops. There are also no heating issues on my unit. The performance has been stellar since the day I received it on those regards. So opening and closing apps is a breeze. The speaker sound is loud and clear, and it's an enjoyable experience from listening to music to talking on the phone with the speaker on. I also really like the vibration motor when typing on this phone, so interacting with the phone is a pleasant experience for those of you who are interested on that. Now onto the battery. With the 4000 mAh battery enclosed in the phone, you can get over a full day of usage with up to 7 hours of on-screen time if you are using it moderately. I start my day at 9:30 AM and end it at 10 PM with about 20% left and with roughly 4 to 5 hours of on-screen time throughout my day. Draining the battery completely has given me 8 hours and 10 minutes max, so the battery life is really good. And only the Redmi 5 Plus supports the Qualcomm Quick Charge, so you can charge the phone within 2 hours, but the Quick Charge does not come included, so you have to buy that separately. So now let's move over to some features. You get a couple of button and gesture shortcuts, like double pressing the power button to launch the camera and sliding down with 3 fingers on the screen to take a screenshot. You also get a scroll screenshot option when you click on the tiny screenshot window that appears. You can also turn off the screen from any screen by holding down the recent, home, or back button, whichever one you assign it to. You also get a handy one-handed mode and can size it from 3 inches up to 4.5 inches to make it easier to text with. You also get a quick ball to navigate around instead of using the on-screen navigation buttons, similar to what you get on iOS to navigate around with. You can turn on the torch by holding on the recent button from the lock screen or swiping right on the lock screen and toggling it on from there. And now onto my favorite feature, the double tap to wake. So you can wake up the screen when you double tap on the display, so that is pretty awesome. Onto another awesome feature is something they call dual apps, and OnePlus calls it parallel apps. So this allows you to run a copy of the same application side by side, and on Redmi you get more apps to choose from, but where I find it useful on both is on Snapchat, so you can have 2 accounts running without needing to sign in and sign out every time you want to switch your accounts. I find it cool because I have my YouTube Snapchat and my personal one, so it's very convenient for me. And all the features that I mentioned have been working really well for me for the past 3 weeks. Now let's go ahead and talk about the camera. I like that they stuck with a single camera and optimized it instead of going for a dual camera setup but not delivering good results with the second one or the second one being fake. The back reminds me of the HTC M8 and the OnePlus 3. So the 12 megapixel rear camera is pretty good. I think I've heard people say that it's a bad camera, but I think it does a nice job both in the daytime and at nighttime, as it has been very consistent to me. A lot of other Chinese phones that I have reviewed don't do so well in low light, but this one does. There's enough detail and contrast between your subject and the background. The front 5 megapixel camera is decent and it has a front LED flash, which is neat, so you can capture some selfies in the dark. So let's go ahead and see a couple of pictures that I captured with this phone, so you can get an idea of the quality of the pictures that you will get with this phone. As you can see from the pictures, you get a nice subtle blur in the background when you take close-up pictures, and it looks good, and it also has a good dynamic range. And the pictures look vivid as well. For pictures at night, there is some noise, but it's not too heavy that the pictures look horrible. They still turn out pretty good. So now let's move on to the video quality. You can record up to 4K videos, which produce some nice results, but the autofocus is not that great. There's also no image stabilization, so the videos will be shaky if you record while you're running. Alright, so we have come to the end of the video, and I personally think that this phone is worth it even though it still hangs on to the micro USB port, but that's just me though. After having the phone for a month, the phone has performed well besides the Wi-Fi issue I encountered. It also has a good camera for the price you are paying and an excellent performance. 8 out of 10 I would recommend. So thank you guys for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more content, and I'll talk to you on the next video.